From the language itself, we can find out a raised to n, b raised to n means, you cannot work on your normal deterministic automator. You should be using a push down because you need to store the value of n. Now your string can be of the form A, B, B, or let's say triple A, triple B. Okay. Now let's quickly go through the stack operations. Now, initially you will have a stack which is empty. Okay. So we'll assume like this. In the beginning, you have a null. At the end also, you will be having a null. So this is an accepted string. This is an accepted string. Imagine you have something like this. This should be rejected. So you should construct a PDA so that the first two are accepted and the third is rejected. Okay. Now this is the initial condition of your string. First, you will be encountering an epsilon. Now, we've already seen that your string, your stack initially, the top of the stack will be Z0. So when you encounter epsilon, you will initialize your stack so that you will be having Z0. Now, you are encountering A, which means you have Z0 and now you are putting in A. So let's draw the state transition diagram simultaneously. You are having an initial state called Q0. Initially, what did I encounter? Initially, I encountered an epsilon. Okay, I encountered an epsilon. Check what was the top of my stack initially. I did not have a top of the stack. My stack was completely empty. So I write epsilon. I encountered epsilon. That is my first epsilon, first null. Here also there was nothing inside my stack. So I wrote epsilon. And what am I now pushing into the stack? I am pushing in an element called Z0. So this is my ID. I encountered epsilon. Okay, my input string was epsilon. I did not have anything inside my stack. I pushed in Z0. So that is my first function. Okay. After that, what did I encounter? I encountered an A. Okay. I encountered an A. When I encountered an A, what was the top of my stack? The top of my stack was Z0. I had Z0 on top of my stack. And what did I push into the stack? I pushed inside A. And the just previous element, what was that? Z0. So I write A, comma, Z0, A0. I now encounter my second A. What do? I push it inside. Okay, so I can have one more function, one more transition. What is my input symbol? I encountered an A. What was the top of my stack? My top of my stack was A. What did I push into the stack? I pushed into my stack A. And what was the just previous? The just previous was A. So I write A, comma, A slash A. I'll go once again. I encountered an A. This A, the one which I encountered, I wrote it as my first A. Now I'm pushing it. What was on the top of my stack? The top of the stack, I had this particular A. I put that A over here. And then I'm pushing this particular A. That's this. And what was the just previous top of the stack? A. So I write A again. Next, I encounter my next A. So it's the same thing again. Okay, I encounter an A. The just previous, it was again A. and then I have A. So you know how many ever A's you have, this function will take care of that. Okay, so this is my initial. To put Z0, I have this. To put my initial A, I have this. And then for all the other continuous A's, I have this particular function. So, you know, this much part is satisfied. So you have third A, put onto the stack. Now, this is for my first A. This is for my first A. Now, for all the repeating A's, the same thing happens again and again and again. The same thing, it is repeated again and again. So, you know, how many ever A's I have, this particular state will take care of it. Okay. Now, I am encountering a B. Now, I am encountering a B. Now, the moment I encounter a B, look into your stack. What should happen? The moment you encounter a B, you should be taking away a matching A from your stack. You should be popping out a matching A from your stack. So let us encounter a B. You are encountering a B. What is the top of your stack? My top of the stack is A. What should you do? You should take it out. You should pop it out, and then the match happens. So whenever you are popping out things, put an epsilon, because you are not pushing anything into the stack. Now, popping means you take it out, and then no pushing happens. So you write BA epsilon. So my first B is encountered. I will be going into a new state, into a state called Q1. So you know I've encountered my first B. There is a chance that many B's can happen. So how many ever B's are encountered? Okay, so let's look here. You have your second B. Okay, the top of the stack is A. What should do? What should you do? You should take it out. Okay, so Z0. Now this is my current stack. And now you have my last B coming up. Last B also, you know, I'll go the same function again. Okay, I encounter a B. The top of the stack is A. I take it up. So, you know, I've done all the matchings of my A and B. Now, don't forget, you have an epsilon over here. The end. You should check whether the end happens. Now, why are you checking whether the end happens? We will see that after some point of time, after some time. With an invalid string, then only you will get the importance of why should you check for the last string. Okay, so now you are encountering what? You are encountering a null. What is the top of the stack? Top of the stack is Z0. Okay, so let it be there. Okay, Z0, let it be there. You can either, this is my final state. That's it. That's it. You can either write it like this, or you can even write it like this. You encounter epsilon, you have in your stack, top of the stack, Z0, and then you take off Z0. You can either follow this way of writing or this way of writing. This is called acceptance by final state. This is called acceptance by final state, and this notation is called acceptance by empty stack. Acceptance by empty stack. You can follow any methodology you want. Okay. Now we have seen how you do a valid string. Now let's think about something like this: AA triple B. Okay. Imagine you are having a string called AA triple B, as you all know. It is invalid. So let's do this. Let us do this. Okay. So you come over here Q0. Okay. Initially you have a Z0. Okay. With this you put in a Z0. With this I put in my first A. With this I put in my second A. So I've done till here. With this I've encountered my first B, which means, I took away my top of the stack. So this is the condition of my stack when I reach here. Now I reach my second B. I reach my second B, which means, I'm doing this particular transition. Okay, I am taking out my top of the stack. Now, this is the condition of my stack. This is the condition of my stack. And I am encountering B. Okay, listen very carefully. This is the condition of my stack. And I am encountering B. Which means I am encountering B. This is the top of my stack, and I need to know what to do. Okay, I'm encountering B. This is the top of my stack. I need to know what to do. Look into your diagram. Do you have such a case? You have BA, what to do. You even have null 0, what to do. You do not have such a case, which means this is an invalid string. This is an invalid string. Now, let's see another case. Let's see another case. Let's see another case. Imagine you have a string called AAA double. Okay, that is what we did earlier, right? Let's say A so now let's take this string AAA double AAA B. AAA B, as you all know, it is an invalid string. Now let's see. Let's see. Okay. You put in Z0, you put in A, you put in your second A, you put in your third A, and then you encounter your first B, which means, you pop out this. Okay. And then you come to your epsilon. Okay. So you encountered epsilon. The top of the stack is A. And please let me know what should you do. Okay. So this is the current condition. You have encountered epsilon. Your top of the stack is A, and you need to know what to do. Your transition diagram does not give you such a case, which means this particular string is invalid. Your PDA rejects this particular string. A push-down automator for A raised to N, B raised to M. You look into the language itself, you can understand that normal finite automator cannot be done for this kernel because you should be remembering the value of N. Then only you can be getting a value M which is greater than N. So these strings are valid. N should be greater than M. So a string like AAB is valid. A string like this is also valid. Number of A's should be greater than the number of B's. Now, if you think logically, this is how your stack will look like. Okay, we'll go for the second string. Okay, you have 3 A's inside. For each B you encounter, you will take away an A. So, at the end of the day, your stack should have at least 1 A remaining. Your stack should have at least 1 A or more than 1 A. So, if at the end you get such a stack where you at least have 1 A remaining, your string is valid. Okay, let's imagine a case like this. Okay, 5 A's, 2 B's. Okay, so you'll have a stack like this. You'll have Z0, you'll have 5 A's inside your stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You encounter 2 B's. Okay, so at the end of the day, your stack should have some A's remaining. That is the basic logic behind this particular push-down automator. Go on pushing. At the end, you should be having A's remaining inside your stack. So let's start drawing the automata. Okay. So initially we will have a Q0. Okay. You encounter epsilon. The top of your stack is epsilon. You push in Z0. Okay. You encounter your first A. Top of the stack is Z0. You push in that A into your stack. Okay. Now I'll start drawing my push-down automata more formally. I will not have too many arrows. Okay. So what is the next case? You encounter an A itself. The top of the stack is A, and then you push in A into your stack. You push in A into your stack. Your previous stack had an A. So as of now, how many ever A's you have pushed it into your stack. Now you will be encountering a first B. You will be encountering a first B. The top of the stack is A. The moment you encounter an A, you pop it out. The moment you encounter an A, you will be popping it out. Okay. Now you might be encountering many B's. So for all the B's you encounter, you might have a matching A. Take it. Okay. So this is for my first B. This is for my second B. Okay. So till here it is same as the normal thing. Now here you will have a difference. As I told you, it is valid if you have at least an A, at least one A pending. Okay. So let's see this particular case. You will be encountering epsilon. You're encountering the end. Now, when you have reached the end of the string, you should have had encountered an A as the top of the stack. If that is the case, you say you have reached the final, and then your string is accepted. If you reach the end of the string and on top of the stack, if you are able to encounter an A, you will say that you have reached the final state. Let us write the transition function. Let's write the transition function for this particular PDA. I'll help you how to write it. You can write it even for the previous one. Okay. So now let's see how you will write the transition function delta. For each PDA you draw, you should be writing the transition function. Okay. Now transition function, you will start writing from your initial state Q0. Okay. So I'll write over here delta. What is my initial state? My initial state is Q0. Now you will have to write transition functions for each and every transition. So this is my initial transition. Okay. I am in a state called Q0. Present state. I am in a state called Q0. I have encountered an epsilon. My top of the stack is epsilon. Okay, I'll go once again. I am in a state called Q0. I have encountered epsilon and the top of my stack is epsilon. I will now be changing myself into delta. No, look here. Am I changing myself into a new state? No. I am coming back to my original state Q0. So I write Q0 and what is the new content of my stack? Z0. Okay. So I've written my transition function for this particular. Now I'll write my transition function for this particular transaction. Delta, which state I am? I am in a state called Q0 itself. What did I encounter? I encountered an A. What was the top of my stack? Z0. And did I change my state? No. I am in my state called Q0 itself. My top of the stack changed accordingly. Now I'll write for the next. Now I'll write for my third transition. Delta. Which state am I in? I am in my same old state called Q0. I encountered A. My top of the stack was A. I'm changing myself into Q0 itself. I'm not having a change, Q0. And my top of the stack is AA. So I've written for that. Now I'll write for this particular transaction. Delta. I was in Q0. I encountered a B. My top of the stack was A. And when I encounter this, I am now changing into Q1. And excellent. I did a copy. Excellent. So that is done. Now I'll do this. Delta. I am in Q1. I encountered a B. My top of the stack is A. I am still back in my Q1 and I'm popping. Okay, so that's done. I'll go for this. Delta. Which state was I in? I was in a state called Q1. I encountered epsilon. My top of the stack was A. And I am going on to my new state called Q2. And my top of the stack is Q0. Sorry, Z0. This is how you write the transition function. Now, the same way you've written the transition function for this, you can even write the transition function for the previous one, A raised to N, B raised to N. A raised to N, B raised to N, B raised to N, C raised to M, where no? This is valid. Triple A, triple B, C, you're not bothered. Okay, so I'll just quickly go once again. Z0, A, triple A's. For each B, you should have a matching A, and then C's, I'm not bothered. I need not do a matching. So the only thing you want to check is you should have A's and then you should have B's where the numbers are equal. So, you know, the logic is as similar as your previous one. You will have Q0. Initially, you will encounter epsilon because you have an epsilon over here. You even have an epsilon over here. Okay. The top of the stack also nothing is there. I have now put Z0 into my stack. For my first A which I encounter, top of the stack was Z0. I put in A into my stack. For all the other A's which I encounter an A. My top of the stack would have been an A. I push in A, and previously also it was A. So, you know, I pushed in all my A's inside. I will encounter my first B. The top of the stack would have been A. I pop it. I make a matching. I will be going on to a state called Q1. Okay. I might encounter many B's. For all the remaining B's also, I will be doing the same operation. Okay. So till here, it is same like before. You put in A's, you encounter B's, you pop, you have now done the matching. Now, the next part is you will be encountering a C. Now look here. The moment you encounter a C, all A's would have gone away. The top of the stack would be Z0. The top of the stack would be Z0. What should you do? Should you push or should you pop? Don't do anything. Leave it as it is. You're not bothered about the number of C's. Okay? Leave it as it is. Leave Z0 as it is. No. One C. You might be encountering many C's. How many ever C's you encounter, do the same thing. How many ever C's you encounter, do the same thing. Okay? And then, after that, at the end of the day, you will be encountering your epsilon. You will be encountering your epsilon. Okay? Epsilon, top of the stack is Z0. Okay? Leave it as it is. You will be reaching your final state. A raised to n, B raised to m, C raised to n. Okay, now look here, this is very interesting. Number of A's and number of C's should be the same. In between, how many ever B's, you are not bothered. So this is valid. Triple A, triple C. This is valid. So let's see how the stack will be. Z0, all the A's you encounter, you put it inside. All the A's you encounter, you put it inside. All the B's you encounter, don't do anything. All the B's you encounter, don't do anything. Leave the top of the stack A itself. Okay, need not enter into the stack. Leave the top of the stack as A itself. Go on encountering any number of B's. Go on encountering any number of B's. Don't do anything into your stack. The moment you start encountering C's, pop it out. The moment you start encountering C's, you will pop it out. So let's do it. Okay, you have Q0. Okay, so initially epsilon Z0. You will be encountering your first A Z0, AZ0. You will be encountering many A's. So that's it. So you know all your A's you are done with. Okay. Now you will be encountering B's. Okay. You will be encountering B's. Okay. So now it is Z0 A. Now you are encountering B. What is the top of your stack? The top of the stack is A. Okay, the moment you encounter B, the top of the stack is A. You remember what I told you? Don't touch your stack. Don't put anything into your stack. Okay, which means you know this part is actually something which you have pushed into, and then your previous top of the stack. Something you've pushed into, and the previous top of the stack. You're not pushing in anything. You are maintaining the previous top of the stack itself. You are not pushing in anything. You are maintaining the previous stack or top of the stack itself. 1B, you might be encountering many B's. Do the same thing. Okay, top of the stack will be A itself. Don't push in anything. Maintain the previous top of the stack itself. Okay, now you will encounter a C. You will encounter a C. The top of the stack is A. Pop it away. That is for your first C. That is for your first C. You will be encountering many C's. Okay? Top of the stack will be A. Pop out. Pop out. Okay? Pop, pop. And then you will be encountering your epsilon. Epsilon, top of the stack will be Z0. Z0. That is your final state. We were saying how to construct push-down automata. So the next language we have in mind is A raised to n, B raised to 2n. A raised to n, B raised to 2n, which means you can have an A, and how many ever A's you have, you will have B's raised to 2, which means if you have one A, you will be having 2 B's. If you're having 2 A's, you'll have 2 raised to 2, which is you will be having 4 B's, and so on. So that is what you mean by A raised to N, B raised to 2N. You quickly look into it. You can know that you will need a stack because the value of N needs to be stored in your memory. Then only you will be able to get B raised to 2N. So very clearly, your finite automator will not take care of this. We will need a push down automator to take care of this kind of a language. Now let's see how we can do it with the help of a stack. Now let us think a bit logically. Now look here. For each A, you will have 2 B's. Okay. For each A, you will have 2 B's. Okay. For each A, you will have 2 B's. So when we construct a stack, normally what we do is you will have your Z0, you will put in an A, and then the moment you encounter a B, you will pop this out. And that is how you find a matching. But now, for each A, you need 2 B's. So we can do a bit of mischief over here. To do this kind of an automator, what we can do is, we can think of a logic like this. Okay, as you all know, it is A, B, B, or something like this, A, 4 B's. Now, you can think your logic to be like this for the stack. You have a stack called this with the top of the stack Z0. You will have an epsilon over here. You will have an epsilon over here. You encounter an A. You encounter this particular A. Now, whenever you encounter an A in your string, usually what you do is you put a single A into your stack. Here what you should be doing is, when you encounter an A, do a bit of mischief, put in 2 A's inside your stack. When you encounter a single A, put 2 A's inside your stack. Okay? Now you encounter your next A. So we'll follow the same logic. Whenever you encounter an A, you will have to put in double the A's. Why double the A's? Because it is raised to twice N. So now you have encountered 2 A's, you have put in 4 A's. Next, you will be encountering a B. Now when you encounter your first B, this A is taken care of. You encounter your second B, this A is taken care of. So our earlier logic, it works fine. For each A, you will have 2 B's. Okay, after that, you will be encountering a next B, for which you will pop out an A, and you will be encountering your last B, for which you will be popping out another A. So this is the logic which you can follow when you have A raised to N, B raised to 2N. It's very simple. Whenever you encounter an A, rather than pushing in a single A, push in 2 A's into the stack. So let us now draw the push down automator for that. Okay, we will be having an initial state called Q0. Okay, so you encounter epsilon. Now when you encounter epsilon, initially your top of the stack is epsilon. You will push in Z0 into your stack. Now let's say you will encounter an A in your input string. Okay, the initial case. Okay, I'll start again from the scratch. Now you have Z0. Okay, so the top of the stack is Z0. Okay, now as I told earlier, when you encounter an A, what should you be putting inside the stack? You should be pushing 2 A's. Okay, so I'll write over here, I am pushing in 2 A's of my stack. Then Z0 is the original. Okay, now you might encounter again another A. Okay, this is for the first A. When you encounter another A again, you're encountering another A. What is the top of my stack? The top of the stack is A. And then what do you push inside the stack? When you encounter an A, you will be pushing in AA into the stack. Whenever you're encountering A, you will be pushing in AA into the stack. And what is the top of the stack? The top of the stack is A. Okay, so it is just like before. Only thing is, instead of pushing in a single A, you are pushing in a double A. After which, sorry. After which you will be encountering a B. Now when you encounter a B and the top of your stack is A, very simple, pop it out. When you pop it out, you write epsilon. Okay, so that is for your first B. You might be encountering several B's. So for all the B's you encounter, you will be doing the same logic. Okay, for all the B's you encounter, whenever the top of the stack is A, you pop it out. You go on doing it until you reach this particular state, which means you're reaching the final stack state, which means your string can be accepted. Okay, so you have reached the end of the string, epsilon. The top of the stack is Z0. Leave it as it is. This is your final state. So this is the push down automata for A raised to N to B raised to 2N. The only thing what you do is, instead of pushing in a single A into the stack, you will be pushing in a double A into the stack, and remaining operations are the same.